today's session. So, very good afternoon to all of you, and a warm welcome to the fourth day of our online faculty development program, which is dedicated to the advancement of research insight through research methodology and SEM Essential. As a part of this seminar, FDP, we have completed we have learned, I should say. We have learned about the basics of the qualitative and the quantitative inquiry. We have seen how literature reviews are important for us and what are the nuances of simple and multiple regression. Yesterday, we were exploring how simple and multiple regression are there and how we can use SPSS to go about it. So today we would be starting our exploration of structure equation modeling, and that we would be doing with the help of AMOS. That is what is the software we would be using. So let us start our journey to broaden our understanding and refine our analytical acumen with the new software, that is what is the AMOS. And for today, we have our resource person, Dr. Ashulekha Gupta. If I say Ashulekha Gupta, I have followed her, and many of my learnings come from her only. So just a little brief about her. She's a professor of management and economics in the Department of Management Studies at the Graphic Era, which is deemed to be University, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Ma'am, it's a very beautiful place. Recently, I visited there. So from the top, I have observed your university. Very beautiful and scenic university is there. So now, apart from her university, I think we should also speak about her. She's an avid researcher in the diverse field of international business, economics, and marketing management. She has a distinguished academic record and holds a doctorate in the post-graduation in economics. In addition to that, she's also a postgraduate diploma in marketing management and international business. Dr. Gupta has more than 22 years of rich experience in teaching, research, and industry. Beside academics, she also holds different administrative positions in the academic institution and the corporate. Dr. Gupta's research interests include international economics, behavioral and environmental economics. She has published a number of research papers in national and international journals of repute and presented more than 30 research papers in different conferences, which includes, apart from the India, she has also presented her paper in the conferences at Bangkok, Thailand, and contributed various chapters in the edited books. Her recent research interest in the area of environmental economics is published as a book chapter in an edited book of Springer Nature, that is Singapore. Dr. Gupta is also reviewer of several national and international journals. So she's on editorial board. So please make a note of that. Dr. Gupta also serves as a resource person for various research-oriented workshops and seminars. And she's also running her YouTube channel on research methodology advanced tool, which include data analysis using various software. So her knowledge is not only limited to the AMOS, but she also handle PLS and other aspects. And that is why I actually got connected with her, because I was also following her some of the videos, and I really found very easy and very understanding with respect to those things. So I have really gained a lot in the past, and I look forward for more kind of insights from the ma'am. So in addition to that, ma'am has also published 25 patents in the national level, and currently she is supervising doctoral research students for their PhD journey. I hope all those students would be very lucky, but never mind. We will get connected virtually. We would be in touch, ma'am, and we look forward to have more learning for, especially on structure equation modeling. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Beautiful connectivity with you, and definitely, this is the actually learning is a two-way process, not only one-way process. And definitely, we would learn from you, from all the entire team. We would like to learn a lot, and we will work together rather than, and we will write number of the papers together, and we have to because analyze number of data. So I'm sure. And thank you so much. First of all, you have given me this opportunity at this platform. In fact, this is a very good workshop that you people had organized. You have taken this initiative, and this is the ICSSR, especially because this workshop is, I would more focus on towards this side, Indian Council of Social Science Research, that is sponsored. And when I was just going through that schedule, so this schedule, I could be able to see you had covered all the aspects those are required for the research scholars, for any faculty, those are starting their journey in their research area, right? So all those aspects you had started, I mean, from literature review as well as until the academic writing and how you are going to publish your paper. And in fact, all the the structure question modeling you had touched. And not only I would say you have touched, you had, because those resource persons are associated, they will give in-depth knowledge about this particular topic, mediation, moderation, and other sort of topics. So I'm sure this workshop would be very successful, and I can hope those are the participants, those are attending this workshop. I'm sure they would be write at least one paper or related to this particular area, and that could be published in the Scopus Index Journal or the Web of Science (SCI). It depends upon you what would be your area of research, and I'm sure, but you are going to apply these technology in your research area. So I hope this session would be wonderful, and you could be able to learn. Right.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving a very nice opening, and thank you for encouraging us for taking this initiative. I really remember me and our friend when we were completing our PhD. So we stumbled, we stuck, we figured out, and obviously, I think for structure equation modeling, James Gaskin is the one name which come to us. But along with that, some Indian people are, I should say, academician. Even they have taken a great lead and great work. Please continue your great work, and we will, in our capacity, we will also continue doing that. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you now.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. So I'm sharing my screen. Right. I'm sure my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Right. 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 So that is because first of all, we would understand why we would like to learn structure equation modeling. What is the use of structure equation modeling? And in fact, structure equation modeling, because softwares, number of softwares are available in the market, like AMOS, PLS-4, various software through which, and in fact, in our studio also, SEM in R, right? That is through this software also you can analyze your data and structure equation modeling you can done. But because, first of all, we would understand why we would like to learn structure equation modeling. What is the relevance of the structure equation modeling in our research, and how we are going through this structure equation entire journey, entire process, how we have to go for it. So here is my first question is structure equation modeling. That is a multivariate statistical analysis technique that is used to analyze structural relationships. This technique, in the combination of factor analysis and multiple regression analysis, and it is used to analyze the structural relationship between measured variables and latent constructs. I will talk about each and everything one by one. Like, let me take my pen, and here is, you can see, we will talk about, there are two important terms. One is factor analysis and another one is multiple regression analysis. So basically, these two terms are collectively, we are calling it structure equation modeling. Now we come to the like factor analysis. It is again divided into two parts, right? Either we are doing EFA. I'm just writing here. I just want to first of all give you this one is the foundation. Sorry, EFA. We are talking about EFA, and here is we are talking about CFA. right? Confirmatory factor analysis. So EFA stands for, here it, exploratory factor analysis. But confirmatory factor analysis, that is confirming whatever the factors you have taken into consideration in your study. That is correct. These are the validated factors. For example, I'm giving you just one example. Let's say you people have taken into consideration, you're working on research on electric vehicle, right? And the electric vehicle, you want to go for this study, and electric vehicle, you are asking a question to your respondents. You like, would you like to would you like to eat burger or pizza, or you don't like? Let's say you had incorporated this question also in your questionnaire. So this is not the correct question that is related to your study. I mean, there is no relationship between electric vehicle adoption and if you are eating pizza, burger. There is no relationship between both these things. So that is an irrelevant question. So CFA, what it is actually it's doing, that means what items you have taken into consideration. There is those items you have, because number of the variables you have taken. So there is any correlation or they are connected. There is the valid question. These valid questions are leading towards what research topic you had identified. We are leading towards the right direction. So basically, first of all, we must understand whether we are doing correct EFA or CFA. So let me, if I will talk about this one is the EFA, right? EFA, that where you are going to apply EFA and where you are going to apply CFA. We will discuss about. And multiple regression analysis, you have already learned, you have already attended this regression analysis session. So I hope these concepts are clear to you. What is multiple regression analysis, where we are going to use multiple regression analysis. So once we are comfortable in both these techniques, factor analysis and multiple regression analysis, that will become structural equation model. That is known as structural equation model. So here are two terms I have used. One is measured variables and latent variables, latent constructs. See, measured variables, I just want to show you one particular, this one is the, just a moment, I just want to show you, there is one document I had opened, structure equation model. We will connect all these things. I just want to show you, yes. Now you can see a complete diagram. I just want to show you. This is the diagram. Let's say these are ENV, that is our construct, and EC1, EC2, EC3, through which we are measuring environment, right? These are the items, EC1, EC2, EC3, through which we are measuring environment. That would be your measured variables, right? Measured variables, these are the latent, because suppose you want to measure someone's emotions, right? You want to measure someone's, let's say, happiness, joyness, right? So you cannot measure directly, right? Because how this person is satisfied, that definitely you would like to ask some questions to that particular person to measure his happiness or his your satisfaction level. You are going to create some questions. So this is the, when happiness or we are talking about satisfaction, that is a latent construct, right? You can talking about latent. So in this picture that I have shown you, environment is a latent construct, but E1, E2, E3, these are measured variables. So what we are doing, we have to prepare a questionnaire, and people are on the Likert scale. They are simply filling all these questions, whether these questions are, you are feeling strongly agree, strongly disagree, neutral, agree, disagree, and so on. So whether you have taken 7-point Likert scale, 5-point Likert scale, right? It depends upon you, and people are filling. So that means we are measuring. So that is why we are calling it measuring. But latent construct, to which environment? Because my latent construct in that picture is environment. So environment, how can I measure? Through these questions, I am measuring. So that is why these two terms are existing, latent construct and measured variables. Here is, I had given some links also, right? So these are, let's say, if you will talk about factor analysis, how we are going for this EFA. We are usually calling it factor analysis as EFA and confirmatory factor analysis when it is validating. So see, and structure equation modeling using AMOS, here is I had given all these playlists also later on, and I'm going to share these PPTs with the organizers, with ma'am, right? So ma'am, she will share with you all these PPTs, right? And you can just click on all these things videos and you can reach on that particular video. There is no need you are searching here and there and you are saving your time. And some related links like multiple regression, you have already learned. Interpret how we are, that is the most important thing, interpret result of regression. So how we are going to interpret all these regression results. So that is also attached. Standardized and unstandardized coefficients. We will use this term when we will work on that particular structure equation modeling analysis. So what is the meaning of this standardized, unstandardized coefficient and complete research methodology? All those things are here. Now, my question is the same, why we are using structured equation modeling only? Actually, a so-called second generation data analysis method. Actually, what happened in the first generation, we people, because I did my PhD at that time when only first generation data analysis methods were applicable. There was no second generation data analysis methods were applicable. And nobody had given, as ma'am said earlier, Professor Gaskin. And we have learned Professor Gaskin videos, right? How we are going to apply this structure equation modeling. What is this? Where we are going to apply and in what situation we can apply this structure equation modeling. So here is first generation data analysis means simply we were limited towards regression, multiple regression analysis, the covariance, right? Like ANOVA and all these things, we could be able to apply only there. These methods only. Like in my PhD thesis, I had worked on FDI, foreign direct investment. So I had applied only multivariate regression. But though later on, when I was working on structure equation modeling, then I could learn that is the same thing, but in a different way, in a pictorial form, right? Just representation is change, right? Through which that is the more elaborative and mediation and moderation also we can do that we cannot do earlier in only in multiple regression. So that is our advanced one. So they are characterized by their shared limitations of being able to analyze only one layer of ranking as written here. That is only the one layer of linkages between independent and dependent variables at a time. So means we could not be able to apply mediation, moderation, and other kind of linkages. And let's say more than one linkages we would like to identify. So we cannot find out such kind of linkages through this regression, multiple regression. So ultimately what we can say, that is the second generation method. This one is that is structure equation modeling. This method allows for the simultaneous analysis of multiple independent and dependent variables. So at a time, suppose we have number of independent variables, number of dependent variables, we can analyze through this structure equation modeling. So I hope you understand means why structure equation modeling is applied. Then next question arises. Whereas next question is when to use structure equation modeling. हमें कब use करना चाहिए structure equation modeling? That's most important. Here is complex research models. When the research models are complex, right? Means multiple associations between the multiple independent and multiple dependent variables. And usually when mediating or moderating variables present in your study. Let's say meaning moderation. Suppose we want to check gender-wise moderation also. Let's say if I will talk about that, the simple my research, let's say I'm working on electric vehicle. An electric vehicle, that is the gender wise, there is any difference among the people, those are adopting electric vehicle. Means what female are thinking about electric vehicle and what male are thinking about the electric vehicle. So that means I can say moderating variable present. Right. I can say moderation of the variable is there. So through gender wise also we can analyze our data. This is the one point. But another point, if we will talk about another point is, let's say age wise, we would like to see how people are adopting this one is electric vehicle. So age wise, that would also become a moderator. Moderator means, suppose what is youth is thinking about electric vehicle. Let's say in between, those are in between 18 to 25 years old. And what is the opinion of 25 years old to 35 years old people? What they think about electric vehicle, how we can adopt it, and and those people, those are in between 35 to 45 years old, or more than 55 years old, 65, and all these things we would like to analyze. So these are there is, you can use the structure equation model, because moderating variables are present in our study. And the latent concepts like multidimensional constructs with several underlying dimensions. Because multidimensional constructs with several underlying dimensions means we are talking about, let's say, if environment, it can be justified with the help of 4, 5, 6, 7 statements, right? Are you concerned about the environment? Are you thinking about the green environment? How we can achieve sustainability development goals, right? Clean energy and all these things. Suppose there are the n number of the questions. So here is latent concept would be developed with the help of all these dimensions. So we can club, because all these factors we can club under the one hat, and those are related to like economic issues. Economic issues means we are always talking about the money. So electric vehicle, whether money we are saving, that is the cost effective vehicle, or let's say we can say what could be the mileage of this electric vehicle, or the price of this electric vehicle. All those questions would be fall under the one category, because everything it is related to the economy. So economic factors we can club in one hand, environmental factors we can club in another hand, government policies we can put it in one hand. So in that way, all these latent concepts we can develop. Right, like example is satisfaction, usefulness, attitude, etc. Because attitude you cannot measure. Attitude is a latent concept. Satisfaction, it is a latent concept. Usefulness, it is a latent concept. Attitude, suppose we want to measure attitude towards one particular brand, one particular product. So there are some questions, some items you're going to frame. After that, you can measure attitude, and otherwise you cannot measure attitude. Like simply one person would not say, okay, fine, I like it most. And another person said, I don't like this particular commodity. So ultimately, maybe it is just a random answer, but it is not, maybe it could be biased, but it is incorrect answer. But here is, that is why you are creating your questionnaire through which you are going to measure this attitude, whether he is right or wrong, because number of questions he would answer, right? If these answers are contradicting, right, to each other, so ultimately we can say attitude we cannot measure. Correct. So constructs that have multiple measures, because through multiple measures you can you can measure all these constructs. These are construct like satisfaction is a construct, usefulness is a construct, attitude is a construct. Often measures with perceptual self-report data, right? When we come to the, here is again, my question is why structure question modeling it is applicable, and what sort of model we are going to apply when we are measuring structure question. So this method is preferred by the researcher because it estimates the multiple and interrelated dependence in a single analysis. In this analysis, basically two types of variables are used, endogenous variables and exogenous variables. Endogenous variables are equivalent to dependent variables and are equal to the independent variables. So I just want to show you exogenous and endogenous. What is the meaning of these particular term? Let me share with you this word document. If suppose I just want to share with you, right? You can see this is the after we had applied the structure question modeling, this is a complete model, right? You can say this arrow, right? This arrow, it is going towards this side, this is going towards this. So means where is arrow, right? Arrow that is the is entering these kind of variables constructs is known as endogenous. Exogenous are those are we are talking about independent variables. We are talking about independent variables. So here is if we will talk about here is endogenous and exogenous variables. Endogenous variables are equivalent to dependent variable, where is arrow is entering. But from where arrow is originating, right, from where arrow is coming, right, that is these all variables are independent variables and we can call it is exogenous variables. And here is this can be thought of as a set of relationships providing consistency and comprehensive explanations of the actual phenomena. There are two types of model. One is measurement model and the one is structural model. So the measurement model represents the theory that specifies how measured variables come together to represent the theory. And a structure model that represents the theory that shows how constructs are related to other constructs. See, here is every conceptual model would be supported by some theories, right? Means any model you would like to, I'm just sharing you one particular paper. You can see here, right? This is the paper. This is the paper is already published this paper, right? That is in the B category journal, right? This paper has been published in B category journal, ABDC B ranking journal, Journal of Financial Services Marketing. And this paper is adoption of the perception of the banking customers towards the green mode of banking, a demonstration of structure question modeling. So now you can understand how come we have reached? These are our research questions. You can see here, right? These are research questions. So to satisfy all these research questions, we have done literature review. Literature review, now you can see theoretical background that is the most important component in the structure question modeling without which you cannot proceed. So in this suppose we have decided we would like to work on this particular topic that is banking customers' behavior towards the green banking mode. Right. So, with the help of structured question modeling, adoption, and perception, what people they are thinking about banking customers. I mean, banking customer. This one is the green mode of the banking. They whether they would like to adopt it or they don't want to adopt it, and what is the perception towards this concept. So we had created some research questions, and after that, you can see theoretical background. So every theory, because has some meaning logically, it has already proven in the past. So this is the research paper is backed or we can say supported by these theories. So I could say the most commonly used models as theory of reasoned action, TRA, we had taken into consideration this theory, TRA. right? Theory of reasoned action, which is based on the assumptions that individual behavior, right, and can be predicted by their intention and attitude is a strong predictor of intention. That is already proven in the past. Then the next one is the theory of the planned behavior. We can say TPB, theory of planned behavior, because this study, what I am doing in the banking sector, green banking. So, in this study, these theories play a very important role because theory of the planned behavior, that is important because how people they would reflect all these things in their behavior. So that is why we have taken into consideration theory of planned behavior. Some more theories also, technology innovation acceptance model. Yeah, technology, we can say technology acceptance model, TAM. And one more thing, this one is the TAM theory to assess people's willingness to adopt new innovation. Whether sometimes you have already seen new technology came into market, but we are far behind this just because of this. Some new people, I mean, some people, once they will use, then after that, when the results are good, then only we are going to adopt this particular technology. So, same to this when the computerization and we were talking about computerization in the banking sector and app development and other sort of the modes, those are leading towards the green banking. So all these modes are, whether these modes are I mean, I could say these modes are correct, or the people, whether we should adopt, like let's say somebody is talking about internet banking. So internet banking might be possible, your bank account would be right, your bank account would be linked some wrong, and hackers can enter into your bank account, they can hack your bank account and all these things. So at that time you are just waiting for this other people, when the all these things would be satisfied, then only we have to enter in this segment. So this is the technology acceptance model. What important factors are required to accept any technology, right? In your matlab, I mean, those are the acceptance of the model. It depends upon these behavior. So all these theories we have taken into consideration. Then only we have created our hypothesis in the same way, because the structural equation modeling, that is incomplete until unless you are not following any theory, because all these models are backed by some theories. So here is perceived risk, customer attitude, customer intention we have defined here. Now you can see, and we had created our this hypothesis H1, H2, all those things. Then bank credibility and customer attitude. And again, we have created one more hypothesis. Then further is we will talk about here is price and consumer attitude, attitude and intention, trust consumer attitude, and after that you can see this is our proposed model. But this proposed model, that is based on some theory. Like you cannot say, I mean, there is no relationship, right? They say, as I had given you one example of, if somebody is doing survey or the research on electric vehicle, if you are asking question related to this, like I would you like to have a burger or pizza? No correlation between when the person is purchasing this electric vehicle or what he is having, because we are not doing research on edible items or their behavior towards the food items, right? So here is there is no relationship. And the same way attitude, like there is the theory is supporting attitude towards green banking. You can see perceived risk, yes, of course, as I said, hackers maybe hack your account. Perceived price, right? What would be the pricing we are going to pay when we are having this green banking? What would be the costing to you? Bank credibility, right? If those banks are offering you some apps or internet banking, these are the well protected or not, or the bank is credible, might be possible your bank account would be empty, right? And because ultimately, finally, you could say, yeah, I don't want to adopt this green banking due to this reason, because bank credibility is also a very important influential factor for the attitude towards the green banking than trust. Yes, of course, if you have trust, only you will go ahead towards the green banking, or you will be going moving towards your online banking or whatever is the banking. There is the no physical movement is required. Only you are sitting on your chair and you are doing transaction. Then finally, this attitude towards the green banking, that is intention to the adopt green banking, right? That is convert, because first is your attitude. Once your attitude is made, then after that your intention will be created towards the green, adopting green banking, and that would be reflecting in your behavior. That is, we can call it behavior intention also, or intention to adopt green banking, anything. And finally, so now you can see here, this one is the intention to adopt green banking. That is not endogenous, that is not exogenous, because this arrow towards leading towards this side. And here is, this would be the endogenous, and perceived risk would be exogenous. Perceived price, that is also exogenous. Bank credibility, trust, and all these things, because that could become endogenous, and exogenous, you can see. But here is, you can see, that is the latent, that is the latent construct, that is measured by perceived risk, measured by perceived price, bank credibility, trust, and all. And finally, what you had developed your instrument, and you have checked, and one by one we will go through all those things. So let me come back to my this PPT. So I hope, with the help of this example, you have understand. Um, Here is what could be the endogenous variable and exogenous variable, and here is what could be the measurement model and what could be your structure. Right? Then we come to the structure model is that represent the theory that shows how constructs are related to other construct. Let's say, if I was just now, I was talking about green banking. So all those are the constructs we have taken into consideration. They are leading towards the adoption of the, or the, sorry, attitude towards the green banking, or perception towards the green banking. We are not asking, we have not taken any such kind of construct, those are not related. So that would be based on theory. So I'm sure number of theories are available. I will just show you all these theories also, how you can apply these theories in your structure equation modeling. So structure equation modeling is also called, here is agile modeling, because it tests the proposed causal relationship. Here is, and the following assumptions are assumed: multivariate normal distribution. Means whenever we are applying structure equation modeling, so all these things, assumptions should be, they are existing, and they should be fulfilled also. We are assuming your data is like that. So multivariate normal distribution, that would be worked on maximum likelihood method, is used and assumed for multivariate normal distribution. Small changes to multivariate normality can lead to large difference in the chi-square test. See, a simple thing you must understand. See, if we will talk about multivariate normality, it means your data should be normally distributed. So you have to check your data's normality. I had already given you link in my earlier slides. You can see here some. You can find out, these are the like complete research methodology. These are the links. Here is, you can go there and you can find out how we can check the normality of the data. There are n number of methods through which you can check the normality of the data. Then we come to the linearity. A linear relationship is assumed between endogenous and exogenous variables. So structure and equation modeling, that is the condition. That is, we are assuming whatever model you had created, that model is linear. That is linear in nature, right? Whatever the relationship between endogenous and exogenous variable means, What is the relationship between your dependent variable and your independent variable, right? Third thing is outliers. Outliers data should be free of outliers, and outliers affect the model significance. Let's see. I will show you outliers. One example of the outliers. Let me draw here. Let's say this is our box plot test we have done. Right. In R also you can do it. This is the box plot. Right. And this is the box plot, right? This is your data. And let's say, suppose this is the maximum range and this is the minimum range we were talking about, right? Here is, you can see, there's the one star is here, or we can say two stars are here. Those are outside of your range. So these would be outliers. Outliers, how we can understand? Simply, let's say you have class of the, let's say, 60 students in your class. In 60 students, there is one student has got, we will talk about one student has got 95 marks, right? 95 marks. Or another student has got, let's say, 5 marks or 6 marks. Only these are out of, let's say, 100 students class, so hardly one or two students falling in this category. Correct. So these, if suppose you are taking average of the class, average marks you want to calculate. So obviously only majority student they have got marks in between 60 to 70. But only one student or two student they have got marks 99 out of 100 or 98, whatever is the reason behind this. So these students will become outliers for your study. And ultimately, what would happen? Your data would be biased data. So first of all, data should be free from outliers. If I will talk about, and outliers affect the model significance. Right. Ultimately, what would happen? Suppose this student, he has got 99 marks out of 100, or 99% he has got, right? Let's say. So this entry should be removed from your data set. Otherwise, your data would be biased data, and your significance model that will affect your model significance, or your results will not be correct. And those are the, let's say, out of 100 students, only two students have got 2 marks or 3 marks or 5 marks, whatever is the reason. So these are also become outlier for our study, because average will be not correct. So whatever is the average, that would be inclined or shifted towards the this lower range. So you must remove, because your majority class, your majority students, let's say minimum marks 30 students, they have your 40, sorry, 40% the passing marks, and majority have are between 40 to 70 marks or 75 marks. So all these entries would become outliers. So you should first cleaning of the data in the structure question modeling. That is very, very important. If your data is not cleaned, because simply garbage input, garbage output. If you will feed a good quality data, your output would also good. Very relevant, very significant output will come out. So first stage for the structure question modeling, that starts from your data cleaning. And I would like to show you how you are going to clean your data, because otherwise your entire hard work that you had already done structure question modeling, you have done factor analysis, you have done each and everything, results would be nil. I could say negligible results, we could say, right? So we cannot take it into consideration in our research, all these results. So outliers, first of all, you must clear your outliers. Then is the sequence. There should be a cause and effect relationship between endogenous and exogenous variable, and a cause has to occur before the event. I mean, there should be some relationship, cause and effect relationship. Let's say, if I will talk about the price will increase, so demand will also increase or decrease. Yes, there is a valid relationship. You can see in the market also. If there is a sale on any outlet and you people are buying more because demand is created, because that is the discounted prices people are selling. So you are, because price is decreased, so demand is increased. Looking when sometimes price, this one is the price is increased, then demand will decrease. And you have, everybody have seen this was the example of when the onion price was shoot up, right? And it was 100 rupees per kg or 110 rupees per kg. So earlier we were consuming 1 kg, 2 kg onion, but now we have reduced the consumption of the onion just because of price shoot up. So that is the means we can say what could be the price of the onion and what would be the our demand, consumption of the onion. That is correlated. There is a cause and effect. That is valid question. And that is the valid relationship between onion price and consumption of the onion or demand of the onion. Yes, because that there is a sequence. But those things like electric vehicle and burger demand, how come these are related to each other? Not at all, these are related. So here is in your study, you are going to apply structure question modeling until unless there is no sequence. Non-spurious relationship, observed covariance must be true. Let's say, if you can see, I have taken number of latent variables, or we can say constructs I have taken into consideration. So in this non-spurious means there is the right, there would be not false. Non-spurious means not false. So not false relationship should be there. Observed covariance must be true. There should not be, there is the correlation in between two covariance, or we can say covariance. I would just like to show you covariance. I just want to share with you. This is the covariance. This one is the arrow in between environment and this one is the procedure, whatever is the, there is the covariance, this kind of. So means whether there is the covariance in, and this covariance should be actual covariance. It should not be false covariance. You can see all these constructs are, there is the covariance arrows. You can see environment to government policy to do whatever is the behavior and EV and behavior intention. That all these are the covariance. Correct? Next. Next, we come to the, I have taken some, this kind of relationship. I would like to show you how come these kind of relationships should be correct. So how come? Because that is why I've taken this example, whereas some results are not correct. That is why I've taken, this is the wrong values, because I would like to show you how come the correct values you are, then only you people go ahead, otherwise you can stop that. Next is model identification. Model identification means equations must be greater than the estimated parameters, or model should be over-identified or exact identified. Under-identification, models are not considered. Let's say under-identified, there is the degree of freedom. It would be right greater than zero. Not all requested parameters can be estimated, right? That is, and identified, that is less than zero. That is just identified equal to zero, and over-identified, that could be greater. Means आपके जो भी whatever is the your parameters you have taken into consideration, if we are doing degree of freedom, we are checking that should be means more than one kind of results we can generate. Right. If suppose you have taken only one parameter, so no result would be generated. Two parameters, so only one kind of relationship would be developed. You have more than, like in my, I have shown you that just now that model. So there is more than one kind of relationship can be created. So this is known as over-identified, right? So your model should not be under-identified, right? There should be sufficient parameters to measure your model. Now we come to the sample size. Professor here because you can study Professor Here papers also. Professor Here, he has written a very good book related to this one is the on the title of structure question modeling. And I usually follow Professor Here's guidelines and those observations he has given on those thumb rule he had given. So sample size, that is the biggest question. Number of times our research scholars, they are asking, ma'am, they're asking, ma'am, what kind of sample size, I mean, how much sample size is sufficient for our study? So straightforward, I said, simply you will find out how many items you have, right? How many indicators you have. That should be multiplied by 10 to 20 times, right? Thumb rule is, as I mentioned, thumb rule is, you can see thumb rule is that is the 10 to 20 times as many cases as variables, right? Or those are your indicators. You can multiply. Let's say you have how many indicators? Let's say you have 25 statements. Statement means items. So 25 multiplied by 10. So that would be 250 minimum sample size is required for a study. ज़्यादा हो सकता है, but कम. Or 250, below 250, that means you are not doing justice and your data is biased. So you people, you have to taking into consideration. Then is uncorrelated error terms. See, error terms are assumed uncorrelated with other variables error terms. So uncorrelated error terms because some part is going to the error term. Those are not justify or so rest of the residuals would be going to the error term. So these error term, that is these error terms, in between these error terms, there should not be any correlation. If there is any correlation, that means your study is biased. On data, always you are going to use interval data is used. Interval data, I'm sure you understand nominal data, ordinal data, interval data, and ratio scale data. So all these four categories of the data. So interval data, we will use interval data means, let's say I am collecting data on the basis of strongly agree, strongly disagree in between these parameters, right? Strongly agree means we will suppose I'm using 5-point Likert scale data. So 5-point Likert scale data we will talk about. So 5-point Likert scale data, first parameter would be strongly disagree. Right. I had given number 1. Second number, 2 number I had given strong. This one is the disagree. And third one is your neutral. And fourth one is agree. And fifth one is your strongly agree. So suppose you are saying this statement is correct. I strongly agree. So you will write there is number is 5. Right. And somebody, let's say, I am strongly disagree, and you will write 1 because I had developed my scale on the basis of interval data I am using because I had collected data on interval scale. Right. So then, because see, 4 categories of data: nominal, in nominal, and ordinal, interval, and ratio. Ratio scale data, if you had collected on this data, you can apply any statistical analysis because ratio scale means absolute zero. Let's say ratio scale means if I will talk about I could say what is the height in this class, right? Height. Let's say one person is having 6 feet height, another person 5.5, another person is the only 5 feet height and all. So we can say because that is the absolute zero, everybody would understand 6 feet height student is the tallest in the class because absolute zero we can. Somebody would say, let's say I am this person is having 95 kg weight and this person is having 65 kg weight and one person is having only 40 kg. So we can easily understand 95 kg it is heavier as comparatively to 65 kg and 65 kg is heavier as comparatively to 40 kg. That is absolute zero. So this kind of data is known as ratio scale data. Right. Somebody would say, let's say today's temperature is 37 degree. Right. So, or somebody is saying in my city, temperature is only, I could say only 20, we can say 20 degree. Right. 20 degrees. So here is, that means we can say the lower is the temperature means that temperature is not too hot. And somebody is saying 50 degrees, so that means there is, right, this temperature is too hot. We can assume because this data is ratio scale data. Right, that is actual data. That is absolute, that is related to absolute zero. So this one is the interval data we people are using. Then only you can run structure question modeling. Otherwise, you cannot run. Next. Next, we come to the steps of structure question model. What steps we are going to follow? Number one, defining individual constructs. First step is to define the constructs theoretically. As I said earlier also, if I have taken number of the constructs that are going to define theoretically, it should be supported by theoretically, right? Let's say you are saying corona is good for the health. Are you why? How come it is correct? It is any theory you have in the past. This theory is saying corona is the good for health. None theory, nothing is available here. Is corona is good for the society? Corona is good for health. Say because corona is not good for health, but you are saying corona is good for health, or you want to prove it. Right, because your data you had might be possible. You have proven in your study, right? You had collected data like that. That is not supported by any theory in the past. No theoretical, no theory it is existing. So you cannot because your constructs are not theoretically supported. So there is conduct a pre-test to evaluate the item. A confirmatory test of the measurement model is conducted using CFA. So those theoretically, this one is the your data is your conceptual model or your research is based on any theory. So after that, you are going to prove it with the help of the CFA, right? But if the question is arising, let's say where I'm going to use then EFA. EFA is I'm going to use when, let's say, there are two ways. There are two ways to validate your questionnaire. I'm just showing you steps. I just want to share you this paper. Right. Again, we come to the same way. Let's say, how many constructs are here in this study? Attitude, intention, perceived risk, perceived price, trust and belief, and bank credibility. I have already shown you that is the proposed model. Same constructs we have taken: perceived risk, perceived price, bank credibility, trust, etc. Right. So now you can see attitude, intention, perceived risk, all these things. These are already validated. You can see because in this study 2020, this person had used this particular construct. Because I have not taken entire model, and this is the suggestion to all the researchers: do not take entire model from one particular study. Right. Do one thing, construct. That is the advisable to everyone, and same kind of procedure I usually follow. Attitude I have taken from this study. Intention I have taken from these studies, 1981, 2005, 2006, and all. Perceived price, right? That is I have taken from this study. Trust and belief I have taken from this study, and bank credibility I have taken from this study. So means if suppose all these things are validated, you have taken, so there is no need to run EFA, exploratory factor analysis. Means there is no need you are going to run factor analysis. Simply you are going towards your CFA. CFA means simply that would validate your convergent validity, your discriminant validity, all these things that would validate. Okay, fine. Your model is whatever the construct you have taken, that is all right. That is correct. That is acceptable because they are falling in the acceptable range. Here is I have given you this table also. That is the outcome of EFA. Whereas we are talking about exploratory factor analysis. Let's say you have let's say 37 parameters to in your study. You have not taken any validated model. And when you have 37 parameters, and now you would like to convert all these parameters into constructs, means factors, because these are your items. So what we have done, we have collected data in the on the basis of Likert scale, I mean 1 to 5 Likert scale or 1 to 7 Likert scale, we have collected this data. And after that, this data we have run into SPSS, we have done factor analysis. And after factor analysis, you can see how many components came out. Component 1, that is one, trust. This is the component. There is what is their factor loading? 0.959, 0.957, 0.949 and all. And that is make sure all the factor loading should be above 0.5. Then only acceptable. Otherwise, you will drop these items. So that is one construct we had created. That is trust. Attitude, again, some factors, because some questions are falling in this category. You can see. And these questions are falling in this category. Attitude 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. You can see all these factors are, factor loading is above point. That is why it is acceptable. That is the thumb rule of factor analysis. Then the third one is, you can say, intention. And now you can see what is the factor loading, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, 0.7. That is again above 0.5. Then is the perceived risk, you can say 0.7, 0.7, 0.48, 0.5. Then is the bank credibility, you can say that is 0.7, 0.7, 0.6 and all. And then the price, you can say. So that means our model, whatever is the extraction, this is called it extraction method, that is PCA. Right? This is the rotation method, Verimax and Kaiser normalization. This is the when you are going through EFA. If you are not going EFA, that is, this table is not required at all, because already you have collected data from the validated. Those are already published in the past. All these constructs you have taken validated constructs, so there is no need, right? And same questionnaire you had adopted. That means, let's say, trust. If suppose trust I have taken, and the same questions a person who had published in the past, we had already used all these questions, trust 1, trust 2, trust 3, same questions I had adopted. Means I am not framing some new questions in the questionnaire, right? Questionnaire also I would like to show you. So here is, this is the factor loading, and all factor loading is below 0.5. So we can say all this one is the EFA is correct, and that is accepted. Correct. So now we will come to the right. We can come to this point, analysis of data and results. So confirmatory factor analysis for internet banking adoption scale. Then after that, after EFA, we have start running CFA. That is confirmatory factor analysis. So this one is also the total variance explained. This is the part of the PCA, principal component analysis. Right. Now you can say goodness of fit indexes. These are all are the part of your, this one is your EFA, sorry, CFA. So CFA is chi-square, CFI, GFI, and all these things, these values, and that is acceptable, great, and all, because these are the, this table is like that we have to do practice in the, I mean, when I would run tomorrow session. Today is only we would like to understand when we are going to start through AMOS. I would give you introduction of the AMOS in tomorrow session, but today only theoretical part we are going to cover up. So now you can see this is the table threshold. You have seen everybody have given your blood as sample, right? And in this sample, you have already through this sample, I could say you have you have find out what is your sugar level, and whether it is with the liver function test and other sort of the test. And there is the, in the last column you have seen, that is threshold, means your sugar is, you are hypoglycemic or hyperglycemic and all, because you are falling either below this range or above this range. So these are the thresholds. So in the same manner, in the structure question modeling, we would use these kind of threshold values. And if you're, that is why you can see here, NF5 0.95, right? Greater than 0.95, right? And it should be less than, I mean, greater than 0.90, and it would be in between these things, that is acceptable. You can say 0.989, that is greater than 0.95, or it could be greater than 0.090, that is acceptable. AGF5, that is greater than 0.80, तो हमारा कितना आया 0.9, that is great. Right. RMC, that should always be less than 0.05. Always be less than 0.05. That is good. Or if it is in between 0.05 to 0.10, that is moderate. And if it is greater than 0.0, that is bad. That means your results are not correct and your results are bad. But in our study, what are the results? You can see here. 0.024, that is great. Our results are great. 0.984, that is great. 0.989, great. Right. And 3.125, because in between 3 to 5. If your chi-square, I will show you tomorrow when I would analyze any file. So I will show you how come it is acceptable. So 3 is good and 5 is acceptable, and so on. So that is the CR composite reliability. That is actually this table, it is related to this one is the CFA. CFA will work on this table. Right. After CFA, you could find out all these values. What is your AV? What is your composite reliability? What is your Cronbach alpha? Each and everything you can find out once you have run CFA. I would like to show you. This one is the CFA table. This one is the structure. This is the CFA. CFA means simply, now I said I have taken in that picture a wrong model. Why? I just want to show you what is correct and what is incorrect. So now you can see what is the values. Correlation, that is the thumb rule. Thumb rule it says, these are your constructs, these are your items. These are your items, these are your constructs. So constructs, if we will talk about price, this is the bank credit, risk, trust, attitude, and intention. There should not be, there should not be a strong correlationship. Otherwise, means both the constructs are representing the same. Multipolarity issue would be there. So if there is maybe, right, this is the output, price and let's say, or we can say risk and trust, or trust and attitude, there's a high correlation. So what you have to do, you have to merge. What could be the solution of this problem? I'm just giving you the multipolarity issue is there. So that is the solution. You can merge trust and attitude in a one construct. So why we are taking both these constructs in a different way? I mean, in a independent way. Better hai ki we can have one construct. We can club them all three items. How many items? 1, 2, 3, 4 items in this trust and attitude. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 3 items in this attitude. So we can club both the items and we can create one single construct. Right. Because our values are correct, that is less than 0.5, that means there is no high correlation. So we can say our constructs are right. But what is this? You would say these arrows, price is defined by three items, P1, P2, and P3. You can see price is self-sufficient to explain, right? Explain how we can measure price with the help of these items, P1, P2, and P3. Why we are saying this statement? Because